not seen one of those times.
That's our billionaire. That is our billionaire.
We rest. All right, then. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, sir. We're looking to have maybe at least one or two of the other elders join us in the course of the conversation. If they do, we'll be willing to hear from them. The billionaire is also going to be joining us virtually at this time. Young man, like I said, always has a lot, on his plate, and it's so important, especially given the fact that we have the concert coming up this weekend with our sister station, and so he will be in and out, virtually present with us more than physically. Okay, so feel free to join in on the conversation as well. But let's start by hearing from the minister himself. That's our Minister for Works. Let's hear from Mr. Dave Umahi on this toll, why it's important. Cashless toll for the Abuja-Keffi-Makurdi Highway. Let's take a listen.
A true development of this route, part of the assignment will be how we can install CCTV cameras alongside with solar light all through the entire route of the project. And so we will be able to remove security on our routes, and then we have a station, at the relief center where we will stay and watch the vehicles, so that within 10 minutes of any incident along the route, then the security people will be able to be there. And so your assignment will be to develop a method statement that will guide us into cashless policy. And you could have POS, with security by the side I'm just suggesting, so that people can buy their, gate pass, and pay cash probably, while you're doing very concentrated, advertisement, and printing cards on what you need to use to arrest this issue of paying cash at the toll. But the assignment is that no cash will be paid at the toll.
Yes, indeed. We just heard from the Minister of Works regarding the $112.53 million Abuja-Keffi-Makurdi roads. Just to give you a bit more context into what this is and why we are seeing it here, it's said to be considered as part of efforts to recover the $112.53 million Chinese loan that was given for the construction of the Abuja-Keffi Expressway and the dualization of the Keffi-Makurdi Road. The federal government inaugurated this committee on the implementation of the cashless tolling system. According to the Minister of Works, Engineer David Umahi, he said this move is part of measures by the Renewed Hope administration to revolutionize road infrastructure development and stimulate economic growth. Speaking more on the matter, he said this is one of the cardinal strategies of the president towards realizing the desires of our people in the road sector development. Now, a bit of history on this road. At a point, he says, recall that a point of Keffi-Makurdi was done on what he calls EPC plus F and funded up to 85% by China Exim Bank. And the federal government paid 15% counterpart funding, and the job was executed satisfactorily by the China Harbour Limited. And he says part of the agreement is that they will toll the road and then recoup the money for the federal government to pay back the loan segment of the project. So this is the history as regards this particular road. It's an agreement. The tolling conversation is an agreement that was had with the company to recoup the 85%, especially part funding that was done to do the road. Now, tolling is not new in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, toll gates were previously a feature of our Nigerian highways, but they were abolished in 2003 due to issues of mismanagement, corruption, public dissatisfaction. But it is said that this absence of toll gates since the abolishment has led to a critical funding gap for road maintenance and development. The toll gate system, it says, if properly managed, can provide a sustainable revenue stream to maintain and upgrade the road network, ensuring safer and more efficient transportation. So we've seen that to some extent in times past, since the abolishment, federal government has in one way or the other tried to reintroduce the tolling system into the country. And here we are again having it as far as it concerns us here in the FCT for the FCT-Keffi Abuja-Keffi-Makurdi Road. So let's hear from our elders this morning. What are the implications of this? Should we be doing this? Should we be doing this at all as a means of recouping this loan? Because that's the major reason that was listed here. Are we for this or are we against it? What does this mean for us generally in the FCT? Perhaps the doctor would like to start this morning.
I wish I didn't have to start.
Let's hear from you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning, Abuja, and good morning to Nigerian for this privilege. Why I didn't want to start is because I know that on the breakout of this news, the first thing that came to my mind, and that may also come to the minds of many other people, is the fact that we are passing through a period of economic hardship, and that a mention of anything that has to do with drivers, cars paying extra money was not going to be welcomed by anybody naturally. And because it looks like, this is one of other ways of adding to the burdens that we're really going to, and that is correct. But I just decided to take the part of looking at the ideal advantage, and the advantage in ideal situation, because I know that tolls are not only Nigerian idea. I mean, they are everywhere, all over the world. And the idea of the toll, first and foremost, generates, funds. I mean, that's economic value. It helps in taxing. It helps in road management, because the funds that are collected are supposed and ideally meant to be used for the maintenance of those roads. And it also helps, it has a security advantage in which that the toll gate also provides surveillance, where you have no thoroughfare. I mean, supposing the security agencies are to track certain vehicles or individuals, the toll provides that advantage on express road. And the toll also assists or helps in form of a stopover, to reduce road accident in terms of the fact that if you're driving on this express road and then probably tired, naturally, when you get to the toll, you slow down. And, probably the process of payments and change and collecting your receipt, you are refreshed. It also provides job opportunity, because people are going to man those tolls, they are going to be employed. And in the times when we used to have tolls, you also notice that wherever you had those tolls, there were some business opportunities around there, because vehicles that stopped immediately or after the tolls, used as a resting place, and then people were selling bread, selling things, water around that environment. Now, do we have a disadvantage? Yes, so much. In a time where we are right now, where we are not able, to be able to account for a lot of things, the tendency is that people are going to mismanage it. If it is not properly, structured in a way that it will reduce corruption drastically or completely avoid it, then it will just be like, bringing those things to enrich certain people, not necessarily government workers, maybe the employees in that place. And I also have a question in my mind. I'm talking about the 85% repayment plan. Is it that after the 85% has been recouped and paid, is it that are we going to abolish it, or is it going to continue after that? So I am deliberate and intentional, to rather face the advantages, that comes with it, than the fear and the concerns of government is coming to extort from the little that we have.
Okay. All right, then. Let's hear from Mazi on this matter.
Good morning, Abuja. The advantages that my brother enumerated, they are things that we know. But the problem is that, I don't know, this administration, it just looks like they are just after tax. That there is nothing they are going to say that will make sense to Nigerians. Number one, you have increased tax in practically every way. Whether those who do importation, they will tell you how much they are paying on custom duties. The normal VAT, you know that VAT now, they are planning to like take it. Yes, it hasn't been done, but we know that they are heading towards 30% or so. Practically everything.
30%?
Yes, the last report I got was 30%. It's still they are still discussing about it.
Oh, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
So, but 20.
You see, even if it's 20, it's still too much. That means if you walk into a supermarket and you buy soap, you're paying 20% on VAT.
No, but that 20 was not for everybody. It was for a select few, depending on their income earnings.
That is how they will tell you is for select this thing, and then when you get to that place, you find out that it's flat, it's cuts across everything that you're picking, you're paying on it. They are paying VAT on that amount on that. I don't see any sincerity, in the way that they, go about governing us. My own problem with this toll gate thing, it's a good thing. In other countries, you toll roads, generate money, because those roads will still need to be maintained. You need fund to, keep the road running. Like you talked about employment as well, but this one they say is going to be cashless. That possibly it will be automated. Now, if it's automated, you don't need much human intervention there. But my problem now is that, is it the company that constructed the road that is going to toll the place, or the federal ministry of works that will toll, then get the money and pay them?
It's the company that is tolling it
They are the
on
company
behalf
that
of the federal government. That is what Engineer Mahi said.
So how are we going to know if they are going to be honest, in case if they generate like 50 million, they are going to be honest to tell us that it's 50 million or so that they generated? I thought you have an agreement with Chinese government, the Chinese whatever bank, the Nexim Bank, to pay back this loan. So toll the road yourself, generate the money. All you know is find a way to make sure that you repay the loan that you collected. But you see, for me, people might not accept this because we still have a lot of roads that are in bad condition. If I'm going to the east now, maybe I'm going to, let's say, Akwa Ibom or Abo, so, and I decide to follow this road. So after this road, what of other bad roads? I just feel like they have given so much pain on Nigeria. They should allow, just like the president said before he became the president, let the poor breathe. Allow Nigerians to, take in some fresh air. You've put so much pressure. You're not towing the road, just one road that you managed to finish. Now you want to put on that one. It doesn't make sense to me. Just like you said, we are going through a lot already. People are going to, struggle to accept that, even if the intentions are pure. But you see, you've started on a bad note already, where people don't seem to believe you. They don't think that you really mean well for them, because you have so many things that when they happen, you pretend like it's none of your business. But when it comes to increasing, your revenue, increasing taxes and so on, that is when you come alive. Well, whether we like it or not, they are still going to go about do what they want to do. We don't have choice, because even if you protest from today to tomorrow, if they've made up their mind they're going to tow the road, they are still going to tow it. But for me, I do not think that they need to do that now.
Well, is it safe at this point to say that really we don't have a choice? I believe that in some things, maybe not in all, in some things there has been some form of a listening ear paid to the people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's hard to say. It's hard to say, honestly. Let me even just leave it at it's hard to say. But I really don't think that we're at the stage where, we have no choice. Perhaps there is something that can still be said about it, and we hope that they would listen.
But there are a few examples. Like, take for instance when they did the Band A thing.
I was going to try and fish out one or two things where we can say, they had the listening ear,
but you just woke up and you noticed that they've moved you to that particular place. And some people are still crying till today. Of course, I heard yesterday that a few people is like they've returned them to Banti or so. That's what I heard. You understand? Maybe they are now responding to it. But the problem now is that those money that you've collected from those people within that period that you move them to that band A, are you going to refund it? You will not do that. You've already taken the money. You've taken it from them.
Okay, we're still talking about this. The committee has been inaugurated. I don't know whether, just like Mazi said, there's any chance that we can speak to the matter such that they will dissolve that committee. But part of the work of the committee includes, their terms of reference include developing the cash tolling system implementation framework, make appropriate recommendations to the potentials of relief stations and good physical environment, amongst other things. We'll talk about all of that, but let's go pay some bills. We'll be right back.
More talk, news and sports after this.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
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 This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Info. Nigeria Inf
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This 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 is
in bank to the tune about 85% part funded, and the rest of the 15% was funded by the federal government. And the Minister of Works, Engineer Dave Umahi, is saying that they are planning to revolutionize road infrastructure development and stimulate economic growth. And this is one of the ways they're going to do that, by bringing the toll along that axis. Yes, that is what they have said. They said this will be done to realize the desires of our people in the road sector development. And so we thought we'll bring you to Town Hall meeting today and find out, is this really the desire of the people as far as road sector development is concerned? We've heard from Dr. Usangforgod, who has weighed in on the matter, and we've also heard from Mazi Destiny Anthony. We're going to be opening up the phone lines in about a minute, just again to bring some context as to why we're having this discussion. We know that tolls were abolished in 2003 under the administration of
Basanjo.
Yes, former President Olusegun Obasanjo. But the conversation has been coming up here and there as far back as 2019. Some people went into the streets to hear from the people themselves, who it's Engineer Dave Umari is saying this is the desire of the people now to find out, should we really be reintroducing this? Yes, we understand the role of tolls in infrastructure and ensuring that, you know, monies are made available not just to construct but also to maintain these roads, right? But then there's also the problem, which I believe is contributed to why it was abolished in 2003, is that's the problem of corruption. These tolls are collected, are they actually used for these purposes? Or are they mismanaged? Are they stolen? Are they pilfered? Are they diverted and all of that, can we really, really justify that if we bring these things back, especially as it concerns this stretch of road, that it will be used to maintain the road? And Engineer Umai said, indeed, the company who built this road will be the one to collect it for the federal government, right? He said they have to do that. And, but, beyond the road maintenance and infrastructure, they're also looking at security issues, which they said installation of CCTV cameras along these corridors will also address. That was one of the things that was mentioned. He said they will have CCTV cameras, they will have solar lights all through the entire route of the project, right? So it's beyond, according to the Minister of Works, it's beyond just collecting money. It's ensuring that a lot of things are put in place, check security, look at road maintenance and all of that. And then he said there's also going to be a relief center, which Dr. Usang had made reference to at some point. You can stop by, take a rest if you're weary, and all of that. So he says this relief centers, they will have they will stage. He says they will be able to put security on the roads, and then they will have a station at the relief center where they will stay and watch the vehicles, so that within 10 minutes of any incident along the routes, the security people will be able to be there, so turnaround time or response time of 10 minutes. He said this is the idea of the president and for our major highways. And when you look at it in context of what he said here, then it's looking like this is not going to be the only toll that is going to be introduced along this. We're going to have more, right? So it's not just an Abuja-Keffi thing. Even though we're discussing as far as it concerns us, it's a nationwide plan by the government. But the question then remains is, will it actually serve the purpose for which it is meant to serve?
I want to point out something before I'll get to that. Who is going to be there to ensure the quality of the job that these people... I have problem with some of these Chinese companies. The Kobo Express Road. If you drive on that road now, you see that most parts of that road, they are already, getting bad. So,
and can we verify that it was constructed by these companies?
Yes, company? I don't know, but I know that the one that did the Kobo Express Road from at least the Kobo area, I know they had like I think 2 or 3 companies that handled that road, but I know the section that this Chinese company handled, I think it's CC something, I can't remember their full name. I do not think that they did a good job on that Kobo road. It looks like some of these other German ones would seem to be doing better, because the reason why I'm saying that is, if the reason why we keep going to these Chinese people is just because of this road because of the loan, is it not better that you borrow money somewhere, do a quality road that will last years? There are still years that we are constructed in this country, maybe late 70s or so, that people are still managing and plying on. But how come some of these ones that they are constructing now, within 5 years, you begin to wonder, is this really a new road? The reason why I'm saying this is, I hope that these people did not construct a road that as soon as they collect their money, as they are leaving, the road has gone bad again, because that will amount to, using us. I have problem with doing business with, the Chinese firms.
But it can't be all Chinese firms.
And the reason why
perhaps you've had an experience with one.
That is that,
should it be fair to generalize?
The train that we are using, the first and only time I traveled to Kaduna for something, I was going to Zaria, I had to use that. We stopped practically at 3 places. How can a train, you just be moving and in the middle of nowhere it will stop, and you find engineers running up and down to kickstart it again, then it will move. This is a brand new jet, supposedly a brand new one, because you collected it through loan, you did not pay. So anybody can construct anything and give to you.
Well, Mazi, I perhaps it's not necessarily that way when you put it that way, because if you're looking at it from the point of the people who are doing these jobs, there's so many other places where they have done these jobs and these jobs maintain and last over time. So when you bring it to the Nigerian context, I think our challenge is usually a case of maintenance on our own part. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sure that we are not overgeneralizing on this.
You know why I said it might not be an issue of maintenance?
Might not.
It might not.
But at the same time, it might not be an issue of shoddily done jobs. Let's not generalize.
The business that I do.
Okay.
If you go to China to produce, most of what we sell at the place where I do business, everybody knows that when you get to that place, there are standards, there are qualities of the same product. they will ask you which one do you want. But because you know that Nigeria is a country where you can bring in anything, nobody's going to ask you any question. We have Standard Organization of Nigeria, which was the other one again. I don't know why we are still allowing those offices to function.
So you said something right now, and it behoves on us as a people to ensure that we don't allow substandard to be our normal.
Somebody went to training in China.
The question is, are we checking, just like you said, with these organizations?
I'm a Nigerian. I should have the interest of my country at heart more than any other country that you think that they are helping us by giving us loan. They are here to do business. If somebody went to China to do training, I won't mention the name, the brand of the phone, but anytime you come around, I will show you. She bought a particular phone that they use in that same place where they did this thing. That lady till today is still using that same phone, but the one that they produce for us that you can walk in and buy, 3 years, if you don't change it, you wake up, it will shut down on its own.
Again, the question is, who is gatekeeping and letting these things come in? Is it not us, the Nigerians?
You know why I'm saying,
okay,
this is Nigeria. We know our problem. Number one issue, corruption. You understand? The gate that they are doing, how even are we sure that if they collect, let's say, 50 million naira in a month, that truly 50 million naira will go into repayment of that loan? Or is it that if you collect 50 million naira, some people will share? I did not say, I'm just giving an instance. I didn't accuse anybody. Somebody will share 50 of it, it will go into private pocket, and maybe only 30. Then at the end of the day, you find out that you've told that road to collect maybe times 10 of what you actually spent on maintaining the road. My own issue is that let us ensure. In fact, one of the senators that was speaking this morning, when I was still in Aba, one of the companies that he brought from this same place that constructed the road, including the one down for the road where I lived, as they were living with the equipment, the road was also all practically going bad. It's almost like you just came, used their brush and paint something and you left. Please, let us ensure. I trust Dave Umahi because in the entire Southeast, apart from Mobi, that is the best performing governor. The guy that is getting close to him is the guy that is in Abia State now. I know he's a guy who he comes to a place, he gives you a job, he will come, he can ask you to start digging in the middle to make sure that the quality and the quantity, you are reaching the right thing. But this now is no longer beyond state. Remember, he's not commander-in-chief. I remember there is limit to what he can do. You know, as a governor, you have every right, you can do certain things. But now he's a minister. So I know that he truly might mean well, just like he did for the people of Ebonyi. But my problem is that when it comes to federal level, there is limit.
So when you say let us ensure, who is us and what are we ensuring as far as these tools are concerned?
You as a Nigerian Somi now, you're a media person. If you walk into another radio station, it doesn't mean that everything that you know about media will disappear. That same knowledge, they move you to another radio station, you are still going to function well. Is that not so? If we have those who are civil engineers, you're into construction, and you observe anything, even if there is nothing you can do, you can write to the ministry and say, please, I noticed XYZ on this same road that we are paying toll on. Please go to make sure that this is checked and is the right thing that is done.
Okay. I hear you and I hear the concerns. Dr. Osang is too quiet. Dr. Waiting on this matter.
I wouldn't have been talking when my
you look like you're deep in thought and contemplating.
Really so,
okay.
Because I have come to a point whereby I don't want to see devil in everything. And like I said in my intro, that we're in a stage whereby we are almost forced to think that everything that comes from government might not succeed or might not work. And for me, I have decided to be positive, you know, to concentrate more on the advantage. Mazi just talked about substandard product. I don't want to blame the government for substandard product, I mean, like imported phones and all of that. You know, we should also look inward and understand that some of these products are brought into the country by our own people who go there and say, look, give me this spec, give me this standard, can you lower it a little bit? And then they ship those things in and then sell to us. It wasn't the federal government, it's not the federal government that imports phone. Yes,
but there is a body that monitors.
We have a body that monitors, but what about our people also who will go there and, you know, you hear some country, I don't want to mention the country, this is spec. This is spec. I mean, it's produced to suit the people of that country. Now, who are the people of that country? Like you ask a question. The idea of our people going there to import substandard things to come and sell to us, it's even more painful if you come in with substandard things and if you can sell it at the rate of substandard things, it's okay. But you bring in substandard phones or gadgets and then you sell them at the same cost with the original ones. Now, I think that yes, the concerns are there. They're germane. Oh, will they manage it properly? Is corruption going to be eradicated? They are correct. They're germane. But I want us to get to that point where we can see positive. I mean, give some things the benefit of the doubt. Because if from the onset anything that is coming from government we are blank, no, it will not work. Because the power of life and death is in the tongue. And we should also be careful the things we propagate, the things we say with our tongue. I'm not in any way making case for any minister or any government person. I've just decided that, look, I want to be positive. Like I highlighted, toll gates everywhere in the world have their advantages. You know, so many advantages that we will not be able to completely talk about. Yes, yeah. I mean, and if we have that in mind, that should be our concern.
Okay.
Then we can only hope. Pray. I will not even make the mistake to forget about pray, and then encourage those who are going to manage it to be prudent, to be honest, to be also conscious the fact that the president will not be everywhere.
Okay.
The minister will not be everywhere.
Again, it comes back to what I was saying when Mazi was speaking, and he still came back to that point at the end of the day. It is us. It's not on whoever has been given the contract. It's on us. Yes. It's on us to ensure that there is proper management. Yes. And if what the minister says stands, which is that they are the ones tolling the loan-funded part, which is 85%, then whoever is responsible to ensure that they are not fleecing the people must also do that. But if we on our part who are in partnership with them are not coming with clean hands, then of course there will be problems at the end of the day.
Because you're going to send people to that place to man, even if it's automated, sir, there will be backroom staff.
As a matter of fact, speaking about the cashless aspect of it, the minister was saying there are going to be POSs there, you know, all in line to keep it cashless. He says there is no plan to collect cash.
You know why? See, I went to a particular court to get a document, and it's written you can't pay cash in that particular court. This is in FCT, and I still paid cash. And the official amount was written on that particular pasted somewhere, and they still collected more than that particular amount for me to get that particular document that I need.
So who did that?
The reason I'm coming. It is us truly, but you see, you have government, you have laws, you have policies to make sure that if Destiny Anthony, an evil-minded person,
I understand,
have decided to go and import substandard product, fake product, and sell to Usang and Somi, the laws are there, the policies are there, those changes are to make sure that they threaten me.
I hear you, sir.
The first person to take the blame is that agency, is the government first, before me. The reason why they succeed in bringing them in is because somebody will collect something, maybe at the airport or somewhere, and allow you bring it in. I know somebody today who used to import, any day you come, I will show you the place. He used to import this substandard product. Everybody, you buy anything from him, you keep having issues. Some of us, we just stop patronizing him. Why will I say something, you make 5K, you don't have peace of mind?
Mazi, what did you do about that person? This person that
I'm coming now. One day, it's like they did a reshufflement in that particular agency. They came and raided the shop, packed practically everything there. From that day till now, he has never brought in any other bad gadget.
Okay.
So you still come to that point whereby we as a
because people, that agency, somebody who is tough, penalized him, and he saw that he was losing millions.
Yes.
Nobody told him to change. Now he's not doing the right thing.
Okay.
So I've come up to that same also.
Yes.
That means those in that agency should sit up also, because after.
And guess what? When they're not sitting up, it's on us. That's why I asked you before that agency moved. Did you make a complaint? Did you raise an issue? Because there was a general observation about this particular person, so it still comes down to us. But we're out of time.
Okay,
we're out of time. We need to do this. We need to do this very quickly.
Okay,
like I said, this conversation has been on since the abolishment of tolls. There have been plans back here and there. As far back as 2019, you know, people were, they took sample opinions of what people thought about bringing it back. And because this cashless conversation did not start with this minister, it has been on before. And here's what the response was to that. I am not in support of the reintroduction of toll gates in Nigeria. I also read about making it cashless. How can the government How can the government make toll gates cashless when there's no electricity to run electronic transaction machines? Unless they want to utilize battery-operated machines, which are unworkable in Nigeria, according to this person. Not to even talk about the conditions of the roads. I would be glad to pay tolls where the roads are 10 lanes and free of potholes, and where there are first responders to assist in case of emergency. I want us to know that when roads are tolled in the Western world, there are alternative routes that are also well maintained. So if one does not want to pay the toll gate, you use the alternative route. For example, there is a Lekki toll and another road should be provided as its alternative. So you don't force people to go and do that one just because you want to recoup your loan. If the roads are good and safe, motorists will not hesitate to pay tolls at toll gates. And if the government can make POS available with proper monitoring, the cashless idea would be good because it will minimize corruption and stealing of cash, and also it will also help security agents to know and trace road users in case of accident.
You don't even need POS.
We need to go on a break now, Seth.
But when it comes to investing, you need a partner that you can trust and is committed to helping you achieve your goals. A partner with a global footprint, diversified investment options, and great returns that help you grow.
This